Hello, good evening. There's been an angry meeting of people displaced by the devastating fire at the Glasgow School of Art. They say they need more help and information. The council says what's needed is to get people back into their homes, but the situation is still dangerous. Gillian Sharp reports.
A world-class building gutted. The facade has moved and it's dangerous. And while its fate remains unclear, that means great uncertainty for residents and businesses in the area too. This afternoon, local residents made their feelings clear to representatives from the Glasgow School of Art, councillors and others. This man left his flat on Friday night with only the jumper and joggers he was wearing. A brief visit on Saturday, but it's frustrating to see his flat but not be able to get there.
Not knowing how long it's going to be. If I knew it was going to be for another few days, a week, I could plan for that. I could not go out and spend the money that I have at the moment on things that I might not need. I have everything I need in the flat, but I don't know how long it's going to be until I get that.
We weren't allowed to film inside as the meeting was going on, but there was a lot of anger and frustration, a feeling of being forgotten. Insurance came up as an issue, what's seen as lack of communication and money, but more than anything, lack of a clear timescale. The council says it's had people on the ground since the fire was reported and that a lack of new information is frustrating for residents and businesses. It adds that at this point there is simply no way to estimate when the very real danger to life and limb will have passed.
Beyond frustrating, because communication has been awful. I mean, the emergency task force number that was set up, if a resident called it, you were given a voicemail, an option for a voicemail, and then, a link to a website. For those of us who actually live here, we were kind of left to our own devices.
Meanwhile, we've also learned that a fire suppression system was close to being activated. Trade body, the British Automatic Fire Sprinkler Association, said huge pumps needed for the water mist system had arrived on site the day before the blaze, but it would have taken weeks to complete the installation. Gillian Sharp reporting Scotland, Glasgow.
The BBC has learned that the SNP at Westminster could refuse to back plans to expand Heathrow Airport in a key Commons vote tomorrow. The SNP Scottish Government has previously supported a third runway at Heathrow. Our Westminster correspondent Nick Eardley has the story.
The Scottish Government had previously backed plans for a new runway at Heathrow, saying that it would bring economic benefits to Scotland. But I'm told the party at Westminster is frustrated there's been a lack of detail about how that would be delivered in recent weeks. Now, they haven't made a final decision about how they'll vote, but I'm also told it's unlikely as things stand that they will back the government. Instead, they may abstain or potentially even vote against. Now, the UK government faces opposition in its own ranks too. A number of Conservative MPs whose constituencies will be impacted by a new runway will vote against too. But more than 40 Labour MPs have already committed to backing the plans. So for now, it seems unlikely the government will lose.
The Scottish Government's Brexit minister says the views of the Scottish people should be binding in any future vote on the UK's exit deal. Tens of thousands of people marched in central London yesterday to demand a final vote. Mike Russell says some kind of vote will have to be held, but this time Scotland's voice should be respected.
That vote in Scotland would have to be binding, because the vote that we had in the 23rd of June in 2016, the people of Scotland have already said they didn't want to leave. So if they were to say so again, but the votes of all these islands went against it again, what would happen? That's the point that has to be resolved.
Boxing and East Lothian's Josh Taylor is being lined up for a crack at a world title after beating Victor Postel in Glasgow last night. Taylor successfully defended his WBC silver super lightweight title. Jane Lewis watched the action.
Another successful defence of his title, but there was more than his belt at stake. And the next time Taylor enters the ring, it'll be for a world title.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on the verge of, my dream and fighting for a world title next, hopefully. So the next one, the big one, on the bigger and better things, and fight for that world title. So I'll make sure I'll go back to the drawing board with Shane. I'll take a couple of weeks off, only a couple of weeks off, and straight back into the gym and righting the wrongs that we did tonight. So Aye, can't wait.
Taylor was made to work for his win against Viktor Postol. The Ukrainian's experience showed early on.
Postol looking strong. Good combinations he put together there.
But with the Scottish crowd behind him, Taylor found his form and power as the fight wore on. Postol down, but not quite out. However, Taylor was buoyed, his energy telling in the final 2 rounds. So high hopes for Taylor as he now eyes a world title, with America's Jose Ramirez his likely opponent. Jane Lewis reporting Scotland.
And in rugby, Scotland finished their summer tour with a record victory over Argentina, winning by 44 points to 15. Dougie Fife ran in the last of Scotland's 6 tries. Weather now, and it's good news from Coster.
If you like the heat, you like the sunshine, you're in luck for the rest of the week. And today was no exception. Plenty of dry, bright weather, lots of sunshine, and we've been spoilt for choice from our weather watchers. This beautiful picture sent in of the bright blue sky, some sunshine, some fair weather cloud around. Across the very far north of the country, we have had a bit more in the way of cloud for the Northern Isles, for the Western Isles at times, but elsewhere, clear skies as we head through the night. Generally light winds and temperatures dipping to around 7 to 10 Celsius, although it will be a bit cooler for more rural spots. And for tomorrow, the start of the working week for many of us, and there is going to be plenty of dry, bright weather, lots of sunshine in store. That cloud across the north, though, may at times drift further inland across the northwest. And temperatures tomorrow will climb up. Here's a wider look at the rest of the UK with the temperature gradient, and you can see across southern England here, temperatures are likely to climb up to around 29 or 30 Celsius. Further to the north for Scotland, we're looking at the mid-20s quite widely, but for the very far north and for the islands, for coastal areas, a bit fresher with that breeze. We're looking at around the high teens. And we'll continue with high pressure for the rest of next week as well, remaining in force with generally light winds. Although for Tuesday, there will likely be a bit more in the way of high cloud around. So that sunshine hazy at times with a bit more in the way of cloud across the north, but temperatures still climbing up to the low to mid-20s quite widely across the country. And for the rest of the week, it is a similar story. Dry and sunny for most, but high UV and high pollen levels as well. That's your forecast.
Thanks, Coster. And we're back at 10:20. Have a great evening until then. Bye-bye for now.